yeah, welcome. It's 6 AM here, Cornwall. I'm out on the lures for bass again. So we've just got in the first hour of the flood, decent sized tide, not massive though, but we have not even a whisper of the wind on the water. It's absolutely stunning. This will be top water heaven I'm hoping for. So I'm going to start on the top, see what we can find, see if there's anything hitting, smashing the top water. I find it can either be one or two ways on situations like this where the fish are a bit sort of timid and don't want to commit to top water lures for fear of exposing themselves, or they can be just going mad. So I'm not sure yet, but this season is developing and those fish are getting more and more confident as we go along. So fingers crossed they are hitting the top and I can show you. The only thing is, we've had a recent dip in the water temperatures at the start of the season, sort of June time. On the fish finder anyway, I was recording temps up to like 21 degrees of water temperature up in the rivers. I mean, even up there now it's like 17. But now, out on the coast, I mean, that translated to like a 16 to 18 degree water temperature on some of the beaches here. But now that looks like about 14 and a half degrees, which I think is really on that line of those fish being really fired up. Yeah, I'll see you on the water. So I'd just seen a few birds out at this point, and I thought I'd have a couple of flicks with a number 2 Flish Black Minnow. It's a reefy patch of ground here, and I'm just sort of doing a steady retrieve with the lure, but I couldn't really see much, so it was time to make a move pretty quickly. So I'm sat right in front of the engine to get all that weight at the back of the boat and help that bow rise up and just make the boat that bit quicker. So I'm at a new mark now, and I'm using top water lures using the Water Dog Retrieve, and that just involves tapping the lure, zigzag, 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 and it just makes an irresistible action for the bass. And when they see it and they want to hit it, they will definitely go for it. And sometimes they can go for it 3-4 times before actually properly committing to the lure. Oftentimes the bigger fish will just swallow the lure whole in one hit, and it's an insane thing to watch. Anyone who's fished top water for any type of fish, but especially bass, knows that it's so visually appealing and stimulating, and it's just addictive. Yes. Yes. He's woken up now. My God. Oh my god, man. There he is. Look at that. Lovely. Look at the light on him. This fish fell to a Pachinko 100 lure, worked on the Walk the Dog style. It's a nice little topwater lure, and it just really excels in this kind of condition. I think there's something about the 100 size as well that they just absolutely love. It just looks so eatable. Coming up in the next clip, I actually have another fish off the top. Regrettably, I didn't have the camera on, but yeah, here it is. Now, at this point, I just kept going with the top waters, just kept peppering different sections of the bank. I didn't really see much else come up for the lures. As the morning has sort of ticked on at this point, I reckon it must have been about, I don't know, 6:45, 7, which in bass fishing terms is pretty late in the morning, especially for around where I'm fishing anyway. So yeah, I decided to change up my tactics and go for the soft plastics at this point. So the tide was still flooding nice and strong. It just was, those fish were just not focused on top water hits, so couldn't really get them to take. And also, it was quite a bit deeper water by this point, fairly good sized tides. It's a good few feet deep, and I just find that the pachinkos and stuff don't work quite so well around here. Of course, some of you guys on the boats have experience of fishing with top water lures in over 100 feet of water, and those bass can be right on top of the surface, and I've seen it myself. I just find in the estuaries and that, when there's a bit too much water, they're a bit hard to sort of tempt out, unless you can get them to come out from a piece of weed or structure, like a piece of bladderwrack, where you might get that sort of single isolated fish. Now with this soft plastic lure, which I'm not actually sure what it is, I was given it at the Cornwall Lure Festival last year as part of the goodie bag. So if anyone can idea it, then that'd be great. But I'm just trying a mixture of retrieves. First off, going for a steady wind, keeping that lure nice and suspended at mid-water, because those fish can be really at any depth at this mark. And I would suggest that that's something that you could try on your own. It's just to keep working all those different depths of water with your lure. So my thoughts at this point are those fish are likely to be on the bottom, but you also like to get fish sort of mid-water chasing bait. So I was just working that lure in such a way that I thought was realistic. So here you can now see me letting the lure stop and sink down to the bottom. And when I feel that thud, I'll give it a flick and animate that lure so that paddle tail goes and nice and sort of flicks around and looks realistic. So yeah, I'm just winding in the slack there on a sink and retrieve method. It's a pretty common method. So you just flick the rod up and you just wind the slack in, and you can just animate that lure as you wish. Oh. So there I just missed a hit where that lure had just been retrieved through the water and then stopped. So that lure was down on the bottom of the bottom, and those fish had obviously just honed in on it and just pecked at it. I get a lot of hits like this at this mark, and it's really interesting because not a lot of other marks that I fish have this sort of, you know, the bass don't really have this sort of behaviour. I just find that so interesting that they, you know, leave the soft plastic down and they'll come and peck at it. I have seen and read that often a soft plastic lure will outfish like a non-retrieved soft plastic lure will outfish a retrieve lure, much as like a piece of bait would potentially outfish a lure. You know, like a ragworm or something just left on the bottom. Kind of food for thought there, and you know, something that I might try a bit more of. There's loads of things. There we are. All those bass are right on the deck, aren't they? Small.